All right, Aieve, you there?
Yeah, you want to go first and see the challenger?
Is there any like prerequisites you want to lay out first?
Yeah, the one for master role challenges. I mean, we can just go with that.
We didn't agree for it last time, so we don't need to now. The argument as to why, actually,
Wait,
no, you
wait,
can.
wait. Time out, time out, time out, time out. Since
All
you
right.
want to do that, can we establish like what a win con would be first? Like, without without scaling to the point where your character wouldn't interact with mine be a sufficient win con? Yes or no?
If it's to like the point, if it's like overvoid, I don't know, if it's like Harley Quinn to like I don't know, like a random civilian like the DC multiverse, like I don't have an issue with that. I don't think that's like a I don't have an issue with that.
So outscaling to a point where the other person cannot interact with yours would be sufficient, correct?
Well, no, that's vague because, like, let's say a higher dimensional being transcends like the comprehension of like a 3D being, but the 3D being has like an 8D ability, you know. So I think it's only sufficient if under like no circumstance, like comprehension, understanding, and external abilities can that person actually interact with the person.
I just don't even think that corresponds to the verse we're debating on. So I don't know why that should be relevant.
Oh my days, it does correspond. For example, Perpetua transcends like the sixth dimension, but Mixed to Mixie has feats on that level. So sure, we could say that yeah, like she transcends his being or exists above him to where they can't interact. But that isn't to then say that if they were to fight, she would then just like dwarf and nerf all of his abilities. So it
Yeah.
does. The,
So
the
I
point
mean,
being
that's
is
just
that
confusion, right?
hold
So
on, hold on,
Perpetua is 3D. And then she
hold on,
transcends sixth
hold on.
dimension.
Hey, hold on. Point being is that simply being above like their being, I don't think that would be sufficient enough to say that they just automatically lose. Unless it's like irreducible. If it's irreducible
That's what
under
I
order.
said.
Okay. If that's what you mean, then like yeah, that's a fine one, Colin.
Yeah. Okay. So also, would you agree that incapitation or the cessation of the other character's life would be a sufficient win con?
Like killing them.
Sure.
Like why do you use jargon for? Sure. Like
Okay, because it's not just killing; it could be something else. Like it could just be erasing them. That would be an example.
yes, a means of erasing or killing them. Unless if the character doesn't have like a resistance to it, then like yes, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We can go now. You can start.
Alright. Um. Yeah, my scaling would just be that Dream just states that what is his name? Lucifer is the second strongest in all of creation, and he has access to the collective unconscious and like all the stories in DC. So he would just, have knowledge upon your character, and despite having access to a vast pool of knowledge, he still thinks that Lucifer is the second strongest in creation. And then in an interview, it's also stated that Lucifer is, I think it says the second strongest being in creation or the strongest being in all of existence. So I think it's consistent, and that Lucifer is just stronger than Ambushman.
So one, ambush bug doesn't exist in that continuity. It exists beyond that continuity. Two, Dream is just wrong. That's a knowledge claim. We know this because Demiurge literally beat up on Lucifer like really fucking badly. We know that it would be temporally dependent because a multitude of examples. For example, the presence. What's her face? Fuck. What's her name? I'm blanking. What's the sister name? Elaine. Elaine, the presence and Dream were all simultaneously stronger than Lucifer at one point in time. So it's not so it's temporally dependent. So like
Three claims. That's
all
chill.
these factors.
Okay, so you mentioned three things. One, how Elaine, Dream, and the Presence at one point in time were stronger than Lucifer. And then the second thing was that it's different continuities. And then the third thing is that he doesn't exist
Yeah,
in
wait,
this.
can you repeat that first point though? I don't think I heard you correctly.
The first point was just that at one point in time, Dream, Elaine, and the Presence were all stronger than Lucifer, correct?
Yeah, like simultaneously.
Okay,
So
yeah, yeah.
we know it's like temporally dependent.
Okay. You can just start with that point that they were at one point in time stronger. The President's being stronger and Elaine being stronger, that's not an issue. As when Dream makes his statement, He says second, and we know that the presence in Vertigo is like above the likes of Lucifer. We also know that Elaine took the what is it? She took the power of the presence and took his place as the godhead amongst creation. So it's effectively two presences just walking around. So there's no issue. What I would want proof for is that at a certain point in time, that dream was like actually stronger than the likes of Lucifer, since he just cucks down to him. It doesn't really
Yeah.
seem that simple in
So
this level.
yeah.
Demiurge.
So
Um,
one, you could actually add Demiurge to the list too, because I mean Demiurge just like
yeah, I
this
just
Lucifer.
remember.
But
Wait, hold on, hold
um,
on. We
the
say
reason, wait,
Demiurge.
hold on. Before I want to get into Dream, so he's not stronger than Dream because even when amped by the totality of Demiurge's power, which again beat Lucifer, he couldn't create his own collective unconscious. And we know that Dream is a collective unconscious. So even while like 2x amped, he can't do a feat on the level of Dream.
Um, so there's just there's two issues. One, you say like Demiurge beat up Lucifer. Like, you're referring to Michael, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's just not true. Like we saw them fight, and like Lucifer just killed the guy. Like I don't think at one point in time during the fight where where Lucifer was like getting overpowered.
Issue 73 of 2000.
Hermes, do you have the scan? Are you referring to like the fall of like Lucifer?
I'm talking about when there was that big ass war and like
That's
Demiurge was
the fall.
picking down on
Yeah,
Lucifer,
we
then
don't.
like the presence
Yeah, we
showed up
don't.
to
We
war
don't.
for him.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. Like all we know is that a war broke out in heaven, and Lucifer and his angels were casted out, and they counted that as defeat. But then, like an unknown amount of time later, when Lucifer is like in hell, he gets tired of hell, and then goes out to do whatever he wants to break free from the planet of presence. He's then shown being able to fight relative to the likes of Michael, and then it's also stated consistently that he's like the strongest angel. He's God's best angel. Michael is an angel, so it's very consistent that one, he's the strongest angel. Two, it's unknown by what they mean by defeat and how the events transpired. We don't know what took place. Three, from what we visually see, Lucifer was shown fighting relative to Michael, beating him, kills him, and then takes his power. And then getting into the second point, um, I don't think it's the case where Lucifer couldn't replicate Dream's collective unconscious. It's more so in context of the narrative that without the power of the presence, Lucifer couldn't create something on the level to which the presence did. The presence is the one who created the collective unconscious. He gave the power to the hands. The hands then went on to create the CU and all those things. It's not something that relates to Dream. It's just something that relates to the presence in his AP that Lucifer can't compare to.
Yeah. Wait, so was that last contention on the part of him not being able to create the unconscious?
Yeah, but even then, like I would disagree, as like it's also stated that Michael has like creative power equal to that of the president. So if
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Lucifer,
yeah. So, one, I would need proof of the collective unconscious, like
wait,
debunking
which one, which
strategy.
one, which one, which one?
Two, we directly see the fight of Demiurge versus Lucifer. Like we see a sword go straight through Lucifer's chest. He can't do anything at all. We know in New 52, Etrigan just like straight up one shots the guy and calls that dude fodder. He's like, what the fuck? This dude was the king of hell, and then becomes the new king of hell. And then directly after, Doomsday bitches Etrigan and then becomes the new king of hell. Right. So it's like two stacks of one shot difference between Doomsday and Lucifer, and then that same Doomsday, while amped by hell, went relative to Supergirl and the other green nigga. What's his name? I don't know his name, but you know his name.
I don't know. I don't fucking know, nigga. The hell? Um, hold on. Let me see. Uh, there's that one scan for like the angel. It's like the whole like hell of Lord thing. I don't even think that's like a consistent portrayal. As if I remember, like I think there is a distinction that like Lucifer. We know Lucifer doesn't care about the position of hell, and has willingly given up that title. And then two, we also know Lucifer is stronger than Neuron, who is literally the literal embodiment of hell itself, including everybody that's within that realm. And he's scared and doesn't even want to test the might of Lucifer. So once again, I think it just shows that your line of reasoning isn't consistent. And then I feel like there's another point. I forgot. Well, I'll just stick to what I responded to. I'll send the scans real quick, so just give me a second. But getting back to earlier point that I want to go over is that there'd be two main points, right? Let's assuming we take the interpretation, right, that Lucifer doesn't really have that crazy of efficiency with the power of Michael. We do know that in context of the story that Michael has like power equal to that of the presence, and his power is the power that the presence uses to shape creation. Lucifer then took that power to himself and made his own creation, but obviously he was inexperienced because he's not a creator. He's more so a shaper. He's not really like a creator. So he's not efficient in utilizing that said power. That
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, again, this just comes down to the creative power that you like said he has. He just doesn't have, right? He's a shaper, like you said. That's why he needed his brother Demiurge to create the multiverse. And even then, it paled in comparison to the present. So, I mean, I don't know how you can compare them. Plus, I sent the scan of Etrigan just one-shotting Lucifer.
Who sent the scan?
I sent the scan of Etrigan one-shotting Lucifer and becoming the new king of hell.
All right, hold on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it would be Etrigan, Demiurge, Dream, the presence, Elaine. I mean, honestly, you could probably even put Death in there. I think Death the Endless arguably is above him.
Oh, we're just getting.
Um,
Let me look at the scans. Where they were saying scans chat. Where's
yeah,
Lucifer?
Stance Chat, like Etrigan just one shots to death.
Oh, Ashikin. I can't believe, bro. Lucifer's literally in a prison. He can't do anything. He doesn't even have his wings.
Yeah, who put him in the prison, bro? Etrigan did.
Through what means? Like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Through
Like,
power, bro. He
hold on,
bitched
hold
the
on, hold on,
guy.
hold
Have
on,
you not read the comic?
hold on, hold on. Off of what I'm looking at, like it doesn't even seem like the guy is at full power, bro. What version of Lucifer even is this?
Wait, what?
I'm saying like yeah, I think this is one inconsistent, and then two, like off of this one scan alone, he's in a prison cell. The guy doesn't. He's not even able to fight himself, so it's not even like a valid one shot. Like he's in a cell, then he just turns around and hits him, and he can't defend himself. So obviously he would be like fatally wounded. You said like the guy who one shot him put him in there. What was the means that he put him in there? Because as I said earlier, one, we have Neuron. Neuron is the embodiment of like the literal hell that these guys rule over. He's scared of Lucifer. Lucifer is said to be the strongest amongst all demons consistently. So even if we were to somehow accept this and take your interpretation for it being the case, it then just gets turned into like an outlier and just not consistent. As later on, like his character is portrayed as just being the strongest amongst the demons in hell and all that stuff. And as I said earlier, we also know Lucifer doesn't have the intention of wanting to rule over hell, so it's fine. Like I don't see an issue of like him letting himself get captured and all that. He doesn't care about hell.
Yeah, so even if I still man that he let himself be captured, you're just agreeing that, yeah, this dude is like 100% and still got one shot by Etrigan.
Whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa, whoa! No, no,
I
no,
mean, that's
no.
just
Oh,
inadvertently
no, no.
conceding to my point.
Wait,
But
wait, no, you didn't respond.
regardless of
Hold on.
that,
Wait, hey, hold on, hold on. That's not an inverted concession because okay, let's agree, right, that the reason why Lucifer was placed in the cage was because he didn't have the intention of actually wanting to fight this said person. The guy then turns around randomly when speaking to Lucifer. Mind you, he's in a cage. He doesn't have his wings. I'm pretty sure the wings are like the source of like some of his power or angelic power. Ignoring that point, he's in the cage. The guy turns around and then sends off a blast that hurts Lucifer. And taking into context of what we know, the guy, one, can't defend himself. Two, it's questionable if he even has his full power. Three, he lacks the intention of actually wanting to fight. Take into these various accounts, he's not 100%.
yeah. So, can you prove that without wings, he's like significantly depowered?
Um, Hermes, do you have like the scans of when Lucifer like lost his wings and had to go to like the whole like Japanese pantheon, like Japanese mythology, and like they give like some explicit mention that like with his wings he can like go beyond like certain concepts related to speed and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then also I do want like some type of empirical evidence for your other claims about the attempted rebuttal to my collective unconsciousness claim,
Oh yeah, so the
and
collective unconscious point was just that it's not more so in reference that Dream is like this being he can't match up to. It's more so that the power and the thing that sustains Dream is something that he cannot match. But that in itself is also iffy, seeing as that he has that power, but he more so just lacks the efficiency to channel it. But the point being is that it has nothing to do with Dream, but instead the presence, which was the whole entire narrative, was that Lucifer can't stack up to the presence. The presence gave Perpetua this power. Perpetua has control over the CU. Dream is the CU, is confined to the CU. Perpetua is the one who, Perpetua is the one who founds that said, I guess, realm or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, this is all just like a conflation of continuities. Um, but if you want to like scale off continuity, TDK literally killed Lucifer. So I mean,
He, yo, Hermes, King, wait, hold on. TDK killed Lucifer.
yeah, anyone who's read Metal knows TDK like fucking one shot the dude. Like that's another one shot.
Oh my days. Um, we just know. Well, one, send the scan, please. Like, I don't remember that ever happening.
I'm just getting what him getting one shot.
Yeah. A great panic for what? Like he's. Bro, I should probably keep the Lucifer scans on hand. Bro, it's my nephew, bro. I'm babysitting him for my older sister.
Yeah. All right. So I sent the scan. So not only did TDK just like entirely one shot him,
Oh my
but you're
days.
conflating continuity. So the collective unconscious in death metal is one of the seven forces of the totality, whereas the collective unconscious in Vertigo is dream of the endless. So those are
Hold
like
on, hold
two
on, hold
different
on,
things.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh my days. All of creation was being destroyed by the presence of him. Hermes, can you please oh my days. Ghetto Jen or Hermes or to anybody that knows DC, can you guys please get the scans over creation typically refers to that of the spirit of gods or even the multiverse. Secondly, the last time you saw Lucifer, the nigga was in the overvoid. Unless you want to somehow argue that this guy's destroying the overvoid too, he's just not encompassed in this statement. And is this before or after Perpetua? Point being is that this is continuing because I'm pretty sure like after this, the battler, I think his name is, like the guy who like takes note of like the history of like different omniverses, like
Yeah, the
he came out
chronicler.
of, yeah, the chronicler, right? So we know that he's like outside what is it? What is it? This like realm
The
of creation.
multiverse.
Yeah, and he's not being affected. But hold on, let me read the scan real quick.
Okay,
Reality.
I'll address it while you get the scan. So,
Mhm.
one, Lucifer isn't
Oh,
in the
this
overvoid. You
is a
have zero
multiverse.
evidence or proof of that whatsoever. That's kind of ridiculous. Two, it is after Perpetua died. I'm pretty sure they're talking about Wonder Woman, who was amped by Superboy Prime.
Timer
Which,
don't.
if you look at the quotations from Doomsday,
This is what I said.
then
You're a
Superboy Prime
fool.
was still alive. So that's Superboy Prime plus
Oh,
Wonder Woman, who was amped by Prime, plus the Presence, who you acknowledge is stronger than. That's three characters stronger than TDK.
hold on. But before I respond to that, because I wasn't paying attention, I was reading the scan. In the scan, in the spear of gods, the last great powers stutter at the new god's might. And then prior to that, when they're like speaking about creation, they're referencing the different alternate universes within hypertime and the multiverse. It's as I said, it's just a reference to the multiverse to the spirit of gods. Like you're such a rat, Ave. Lucifer is like beyond this, bro.
Yeah, I
Do you
mean,
want?
this is just confirmation that Lucifer like died to TDK because one, he's not showing the picture next to Zuriel and all the other strong angels.
Because he's
Plus,
in the overvoid.
wait, no, okay, you can't prove that. Plus,
What?
it literally
Oh,
says no one but one person could stop him. Meaning, if Lucifer was alive, which
nothing.
he's not, you have no evidence of that.
Wait, hold
Then you
on.
wouldn't be able to
So,
stop TDK.
Ave, so you're saying that in this scan, it says that there's only one person that could stop TDK, right?
Yeah.
And who makes the statement?
What?
Who makes the statement?
The narrator, which we can assume to be the chronicler,
Okay, wait,
probably.
hold on. Yeah, okay. So let's assume Esther Conacher, right? Why is he going to be speaking in reference to every single entity within the verse instead of just speaking in reference to the events that are happening within this said multiverse or sphere of gods. Because if you want to commit yourself to that claim, like we just know it's not true. Like TDK was going around gathering power so that he could fight and have like a chance against the hands. To which he himself admits that if he lacks the power of Wonder Woman, that he'll just get his ass beat by the hands and then killed and creation restarted again. It's also stated when he started against Superboy Prime that the two just couldn't kill each other, right? So we know that there's multiple entities within creation that he one can't be, two admits that if he doesn't have enough power and additional power, he'll just get his ass beat and killed by them. Earlier you mentioned something about somebody having like the power of like the presence and this and that and that and that. Like, can you repeat that part for me?
Wait, the power of this, what does that mean?
You mentioned like earlier when I was like reading the scan that um there's like some person that has like the power of like the presence and all these characters that are like above Lucifer or whatever. Like, can you just repeat that part?
No, I said if the presence exists, well, we know he's stronger. If Superboy Prime can
Mm-hmm,
amp Wonder Woman to the point where Wonder Woman is like hailed as like the stopper of TDK, well then
mm-hmm.
that's two characters that are stronger than not including the presence. So that's three characters. And then obviously we know Darkseid was behind everything because it literally says, "Oh yeah, the threats behind the hands." Yeah, that shit was just Darkseid in disguise, bro. So we know that that's at least four characters.
Oh, yeah, that was just the presence. Like the presence planned all of that. They all confined to his plan. Lucifer exists outside the plan of their presence.
Yeah, that's also another unprovable claim. So now you have like four different unprovable claims simultaneously right now.
Wait, am I even allowed to sit in that scan? Yeah, it's not in your server, Hermes. I'm good. I'm good. Um, yeah, give me a second. So presence above TDK. So here's the scan right here that the events of Wonder Woman like beating TDK and all that stuff was planned by the presence. And then Gatojin or Hermes, if you guys have this kind of like Lucifer breaking out of the will of the presence, please send that or his plan. And then thirdly, um, at the end of Vertigo, like we see Lucifer go into the void and then just plunge himself even deeper into the void to do whatever. That's the last we've seen of him. So as of right now, and the last verifiable trace of Lucifer that we have is him being in the Overvoid, which is a place transcendent towards what they're fighting in, which makes sense as to why he's not being visually shown in the panel, which he doesn't. It's so retarded. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to go over? Because I feel like I'm forgetting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these are again all unprovable claims. We can just go, I can quit on the point if you want.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Hold on. Before I do that, I want to get the Lucifer scan soon.
Or wait, is our judge looking back on rec or do we have an immediate judge?
No, I would prefer like looking back on recording.
Okay, well then I'll give character scaling to after this. But is this your scaling though?
No, my scaling at the initial the debate was just that Dream calls him. There we go. Yeah, that's the point I forgot. You while I get to answer those claims, you mentioned how there's like a distinction where within this continuity or creation, Perpetua is the one that created the CU, and it's like a aspect of like the universe or multiverse or whatever. And then in Vertigo, it's not portrayed as such. Um, I like to answer that.
Um, well, I don't need the scans because you already brought it up. You said, yeah, it's one of the creative forces. Like you acknowledged it yourself.
No, 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 not the creative force. I'm talking about the distinction. Now, like in Vertigo, it's portrayed differently. I'm referring to that.
Wait, that's what he mean by Lucifer's in the overvoid?
No, it's oh my days. It's when he's looking at all the different creations and the overvoid, and he just goes deeper into the overvoid. That scan is
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, no,
that,
okay.
that
One,
that's a
that's
good
not even the
scan.
overvoid.
Wait, hold on, wait, hold
Like
on, wait,
even
hold
if
on,
I
hold on,
slow man that, that's not the
hold
overvoid.
on, hold on. This scan is still good because it's to establish that the white thing that we're seeing is the void, and yeah. Oh, that's outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's outside. Okay, that's a different scan. My bad. That's
yeah.
from
So
outside.
not only is this not the overvoid, we literally have like multitude of series after this where he's back inside creation. And
Uh,
again, this is like a conflation of cosmology because I mean these aren't even the same continuities. But even if I still mandate, like he's not in creation, bro. I mean he's not in the overlay, bro.
you said like later on. So yeah, there we go. There we go. When he's talking to Silkman, there we go. There we go. That's the scan. So the four burdens you said were beyond continuity. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And Overvoid, Scanson for that. Stronger than one shot characters. Yes, I'll grab this scan of Neuron being like the embodiment of hell and like him being scared of Lucifer. And then Lucifer, as we both agree, has the power of Michael, and Michael is just stated to have creative potency to that of the
No,
presence.
wait, hold on. I disagree with him having the power of Michael. I said he shaped Michael's power.
You literally said he attained the power of Michael earlier in the debate.
He tanked? Well, no, he got stabbed in the heart.
No, 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 not Tank. Verbatim earlier in the debate, you verbatim said that Lucifer had the power and took the power of Michael.
Oh, yeah, no, I said he was two-timed amped. And what I meant by that was he was using the full power of Demiurge, who was stronger than Lucifer,
Oh,
to make his creation. But he didn't have the power after he made the creation. That's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure he kept everything until he just relinquished it to Elaine. But
No, I mean, that should never happen. But
hold on. Before we get to that, I just need to get this neuron scanner because we're kind of just jumping the gun everywhere. Wait, Hermes, do you have neuron scans? Uh, there we go. Hell itself, send on scan, and then he's the concept of hell. Uh, yeah, that should be good. And then here's Lucifer being beyond that boy. All
yeah,
right.
so again, like
Uh,
this is just another continuity. Like this is
okay,
you're just
okay.
using multiple
Oh
different
my days,
continuities to like
we're getting in.
mix and
Okay,
match.
it seems we're getting into continuity. So, if one, how do you define continuity? Let's just start there. How do you define continuity?
Yeah, I define continuity the way the characters who organize the continuity define them as, and it is the eternal logic of a world over time.
What? What or what? Okay,
The internal logic of a world. Yes.
we're just gonna say that's retarded and just ignore whatever the fuck you said. And instead, we're just gonna take what Grant Morrison established a continuity, that being just different series that DC published that before the introduction of Hypertime, which is different events, different stories or different timelines took place, different eras like pre-crisis, infinite crisis, and all that bullshit. We know as of right now, content hold on. Yeah, so as I said, come here. No, come here. As I said, what is it? As we define continuity now, it's just through the means of hypertime. It's just going to be all continuities are what is it? Canon now. They all exist within the multiverse and creation, and we know that it also exists in the overvoid. That too. Give me a second, because like I have to go talk to my sister real quick. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, for those listening, bro, they have not used Morrison's hypertime in over 20 years. Yes, Eli. 20 fucking years, bro. Like they haven't used that shit since 2008. I'm not even trolling, bro. Well, no, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring up like Morrison himself saying that shit's just not used. I'm gonna bring up the contradiction within Justice League 2018 where they give like a retcon origin and a retcon function for what hypertime is and a retcon definition for it. I'm gonna give a lot of stuff that like just contradicts whatever he's saying.
Wait, what was not used?
Morrison's hypertime. Like that shit is like it's gone, bro. It's in oblivion now.
I'm not gonna lie, that's just wrong, but hey, debate.
It's not. I promise you, it's not wrong.
Bro, are you right? Are you caught up with current DC?
Yeah, man.
All right, so you know, like Barry's like literally running back in time to like the antimatter crisis event, right? I'm just
Wait,
saying Abe is wrong about DC thing, bro. I'm sorry.
no, yeah. I mean, if anything, that backs up my statement. So I don't know what you're bringing that up for, but
No, it doesn't, because like that proves like the timeline directly exists. So like any comic that establishes something is just the case.
yeah. I mean, I think you're confused. Nobody said they caught the canons or the events. Like nobody says they don't exist. In fact, in the moment I referenced where they talks about like internal logic and shit, they literally mention, oh yeah, those extra continuities, they just get thrown in limbo, like Grant Morrison's limbo
Wait,
specifically.
I'm fine with them being thrown in limbo. That's not my problem. My problem is that you said that like they aren't used or some shit. No, they still exist. Like these things still are true to DC things, they're just in a different plane. Like
Yeah,
so
again,
like
there's like some
like
like
these
deep
things like
confusion
hypertime was
here. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying hypertime doesn't work the way Morrison created it
no
to
it
work. Like,
no it never changed. There's just different variants of hypertime. That's the issue that you're not following.
yeah, okay, it's a new variant that's not
Yeah,
used
yeah, and
the way
when
it
I'm telling
functions
you
here.
that hypertime functions as all of these variants.
All right, I'm back, man. Ghettogen, don't,
No,
don't,
that's
don't.
like really bad confusion. Like maybe you can say like Morrison's hypertime.
Guys, like, come on now, like, all
Yeah,
right,
so
this can be the last
why
point.
is your interpretation of the hypertime better than the comics instantiation of how it works?
The comic instantiation is like literally what I said. For example, Ghettogen, do you like the He-Man scans where like they go into hyper time and like they see like the different alternate universes and iterations of him within hypertime, and then the most recent hypertime scan from like 2024 where it says like it contains any and all things DC has ever published, all of the eras, and then and other runs and issues I'm referencing I can get the scans for. The way it's depicted is that it's depicted as like this realm that contains the fiction slash metafiction of that of DC Comics and all the different iterations. Another one being Mr. Mixie. He's also another one which matches the initial claim of what I said, that it's a realm that just contains all eras and all written characters and all things of that nature. And it's substantiated in the multiverse. So it's like there's no like distinction between continuities or whatever. Like it's all just one big multiverse where different timelines represent different issues and different stories they were talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's just a horrible misrepresentation of what it's saying if those things do exist. But I mean I'll just wait on the scans.
Yeah, I got you, son. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
Yo, Ghetto Jin, you can go back to like punching on Ave now. Man. You can go back to punching on them.
Awkward.
Yo, Manny, bro, go get Slim by Gizmo again, bitch.
Nobody can beat me. Definitely not Gizbo. Holy
Bro, I
shit.
already beat you, bro. I already beat you.
All right, bro.
Yeah, wait, where's this from?
Nigga, read the scan, bitch.
Yeah, I don't know why you're like getting weird about it. Where's this from?
Hey, read the fucking Ave, the source of the scan is in the text itself.
By where it's from, I mean who's the author, bro. I don't know why you're trying to like dodge.
Okay, that what? You know, fucking Vegas. Okay, whatever. Hold on, I'm getting a donut right now. Uh, don't we all vote chocolate, bro? BBCs. Now, the author of it, I don't think that matters. Like, it's stated that all authors work together to talk about DC's cosmology and creation to avoid running into contradiction. So, let's say it's made by like some random like DC author that works at the company. I don't think that's an issue, seeing as that Scott Snyder stated that all authors work alongside one another when it comes to establishing the cosmology for DC, so you don't run into any issues.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay,
Yeah, what's up?
if the moment I'm referring to when they say, continuity is just the internal logic of a world, and something that is inconsistent with that internal logic gets thrown into limbo. Well, then how does what you're saying contradict what I'm saying? If what you're saying is, okay, well, the metal continuity is just that continuity that you've given, like, where's the contradiction there?
It's not a contradiction. It's just that's not how limbo works. Limbo is a place where if a fictional character that's been established in DC is written about and then eventually forgotten by, I think, like what the collective unconscious, they then get placed into the realm of limbo. It has nothing to do with
Okay,
like
wait, I gotta stop you there. I'm talking about Morrison's limbo, because remember you brought up Morrison's hypertime.
what is his limbo?
What?
What is his limbo?
The limbo that he created. What do you mean?
Yeah, what does it do? What does it
The
do?
one him and Geoff writes about. I'll give you a scan explaining it.
Yeah, just I didn't read that wrong. Yo, Tamaki, I'm eating like fucking donuts right now, bro. Also, can we like end it after this point? It's going on too long.
Yeah, so I mean, right here, so limbo is basically where all DC and non-DC owned company properties just like languish. So when you brought up something about like a comic author writes a story, whatever, it would just get tossed in limbo. Anything that is inconsistent with whatever the current written story is about is like some like old continuity that gets thrown away. So whenever you have some internal contradiction, for example, the anti-monitor created himself through an implosion in on Crisis on Infinite Earths. That is contradicted by Perpetua creating him in death metal. Since there's a blatant contradiction, the older continuity would just get thrown out, right? And the newer continuity would exist. So
Oh
what
no,
you're
yeah,
saying is
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
using this death metal continuity and you're claiming it's all continuity when it's just false.
Um, yeah, I think hypertime includes limbo. Seeing as that if limbo is the thing that just like throws it out, it's verbatim stated that hypertime contains all things, even contradictions, and just take it as it is. So, even for example, for that analogy, hypertime would contain the universe where Perpetua created it, and then it would also contain the universe where the anti-monitor created it. Instead, it wouldn't be like a shittier version, like such as like Limbo that can't handle the big contradictions, and instead just throws it out. Like no, I think Hypertime is a bigger structure that would include contradictions to within it too. It doesn't do anything. That's like the massive distinction right there.
Can you prove that Hyperdime contains this limbo for one? And two, if it was the case, wouldn't this create a further contradiction as somebody like Harley Quinn and Ambush Bug, who exists beyond these continuities, can just straight up enter something like death metal continuity and like one shot the strongest in the verse?
Well, no, I would need proof that they can do that, but
Yeah, Harley Quinn issue 65, I think. Let me get this again. Oh no, it's 64. Yeah, I mean 64. She does what? She like beats the fuck out of Apex Lex. Like, where's even close? And assuming you read, the continuity you're debating with, that Apex Lex had Perpetua's power. So I mean, either one, you think Perpetua is somehow over Hypertime because Hypertime was created by a lesser being, but that same person who's above Hypertime got beat up by Harley Quinn, who's above hyper time, but somehow not above bound by hyper time at the same time. Like shit doesn't even make sense. Like your position is literally it's nonsensical, bro.
Hold on, bro. Oh, there we go. Elseworlds. There we go. Oh yeah. All right. My bad. I was eating a donut. Elseworlds are basically just prior to like hyper time being established, and Elseworld was just a, like an impossible event that took place within reality. It's really just limbo. Like if something was a contradiction, it would just get treated as Elseworld, and Elseworld were these things that were just treated as being entirely distinct and not even existing in the DC continuity. Hypertime then comes in and encapsulates all of that. As for it containing limbo, if the descriptive fact about limbo is just that it's this place that if a contradiction arises, it just throws out the contradiction and stays as it is. I would just say that it's a lesser structure compared to a structure that one takes both contradictions, accepts both contradictions, and then makes them true to where it's no longer a contradiction and then contains all of it. I would say it's a bigger structure overall, and thus technically speaking, would contain it. If not, he just retcons the idea of what he wants continuity. We want like a structure containing continuity to actually function. As like the whole Harley Quinn and Hypertime thing, can you just repeat that part real quick?
Yeah. So I mean, before I forget, I do want to just say all this contradicts what Grant Morrison thinks of hypertime. Like none of that shit pertains to Grant Morrison whatsoever.
Mm.
Grant Morrison literally made a video on the official DC website describing what Elseworlds means within his multiverse. But on the fact of Harley Quinn, yeah, Harley Quinn just one shot the strongest character in the verse.
Um,
So I mean, and she stated multiple times is beyond the continuities. Um, and she like operates within Grant Morrison's limbo. So either one, you're saying she's somehow bound to the hypertime that somebody weaker than the person she one shot created that contains the limbo that she operates in that allowed her to one shot the person in question in the first place, which doesn't make sense. Or two, your theory is just wrong.
this debate's going on too long. I'll respond and try and do it in a way that doesn't lead to new points. One, is Ghetto still here? Ghetto, do you have this scan to where like Superman like punches Lex Luthor, and we see that Lex Luthor is like I guess like character idea or narrative is something that's sustained across the multiverse, which would be within hypertime. Secondly, I would need evidence that she one shot the
Wait,
strong.
hold on. Wait. Go back. Repeat that first point.
Yeah, it's just one scan where Superman like punches Lex Luthor, and in doing so, we see across like the infinite multiverse, he not one shot, but he punched every single version and iteration of Lex Luthor. So Lex Luthor is continuing from hypertime, and then the whole point, if you're trying to like reduce it to like a contradiction, like absurdity, was like this being created this, she didn't one shot this being, who's above that being, but it's still continuing within that being, and that they're above continuities. One, that's kind of the whole point, and two, the kind of the whole intention. Three, I mentioned earlier how Elseworlds are things that were treated as distinct from continuity, but hypertime can still encompass his nature onto it. So we know even if something isn't a part of continuity, hypertime can make it a part of its continuity. So it has a reach that it has a reach that can extend out towards its own. And overall, I don't think it is a contradiction because I don't think she one shot the strongest character that did X, Y, and Z and yada yada yada. So
Okay, so I mean, one, like, you just accept the reductio. That's fine. But two, you said that well, Apex Lex had like multiple versions of himself, and so that would just be hypertime. I don't disagree that a hypertime exists. I think you're like deeply confused here. I'm saying the hypertime that exists is not Grant Morrison's hypertime, which you said it was. That's the problem because hypertime, as it pertains to the Dark Multiverse, was created by the World Forger, and World Forger's just fucking fodder. Like he got one shot by multiple people, and yeah, and even if this was the case, right, and we accept, okay, well that's a hypertime. again, my character's just beyond that hyper time. I sent the scan right here. Harley Quinn's like, yeah, my mother is more important than your entire hyper time continuity. Like that shit is just like meaningless to me. So
Yeah, okay. One, that terminology is just nowadays. One, that doesn't justify being above all iterations of hypertime because hypertime contains different multiverses. For example, I can say I'm above the hypertime of a random frog, and the hypertime of a random frog would be different universes to where that frog was depicted. So, sure, she can be above an infinite multiverse of how a character was depicted. That doesn't then lead to being the that doesn't lead to being above all the other infinite, multiverses. Two, you just one circling question about yourself again. I didn't answer like the third point. Uh, Sure. Like when I say Grant Morrison's hypertime, I'm just referring to how hypertime is being portrayed as of right now, the segments we have for it, and what their goal and intention is when it comes to continuity. I think you're confused on that. I think we go to conclusions. I don't think we're progressing anywhere.
yeah, before we end your point, I just want to say totality exhaustively explains all the data in reference to hypertime within that continuity. And so if Harley Quinn is beyond the totality, like absolutely, right? There is like she doesn't even exist in that continuity as shown and explained and even power wise explicitly shown, then I mean that thing is entirely useless. I agree you can have like some fodder hyper time. We can go into my scaling now if you
Well, hold
want.
on. That once again just goes circular as it's assuming like a different iteration with totality itself is meaning without giving external evidence.
Yeah, that's your
I'm just saying, hold on,
presupposition.
hold
So
on,
you
hold on,
want to
hold on,
head
hold on,
on
hold on,
now?
hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm just saying totality in this sense refers to default hypertime, but we can just move on. Like I don't want to debate's
Okay,
going
well,
on
no,
too
I mean
long.
that's
So.
just Ryan. You would be
The debate is going on too
incapable
long.
of
Let's move
proving that.
on. Let's move on. Let's move on. The debate's going on too long.
Yeah, you okay. So, as I've shown before, my character can just casually destroy these eternal logic worlds. And so,
Okay,
your variation of the character, regardless of whatever continuity you want to use, because every character and iteration of your character you've shown is within
that's fine.
some
That's
sort of
fine. That's fine.
continuity,
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Like if you give
it
it,
just gets
if
like absolutely one shot by my character. Your character can't interact with mine because your character exists within a continuity.
okay,
Every statement you gave, let me go down the list.
that's fine.
My
That's fine.
character.
If your
No,
scale,
no, no. It's my character scaling. It's my character scaling, bro.
you already gave this argument, bro. Can we just go to conclusions?
No, no, because it's on reg. So no,
Sh-
so one, yeah, the beyond continuity point, that shit was trash. Two, you never proved he was in the overvoid. So I mean,
okay, wait, hold
that shit's
on.
just voided. You never proved that your character's stronger than the one shot characters I gave. You never proved that Lucifer's on the same tier of creation making as the other characters I've shown. You never proved Dark Side is the presence. That's ridiculous.
Hold
And
on. Hold
yeah,
on. Hold on. Let's start right there. Because now what you're doing is that if you like want to affirm all of that, we're then going to have to backtrack into the thing that we just agreed to move on.
no, I'm not affirming. Oh, wait. I'm not like retroactively affirming this,
Oh,
bro. This
okay,
is how.
okay. So can we like please end the debate here, bro?
Well, no, because I want to make sure whoever's listening to this rec like understands you got like mutilated in this debate. So
Okay, yeah, sure. Like
not only did all this
I gotta
happen,
move. Like
he has no
move to the
contentions to my
conclusion.
scaling whatsoever, and so there's like no possibility
There's
that he lost
nothing
it.
like there's nothing distinct. Like if my scaling goes through, all of what you just said is complete utter useless. Two, you never like two, you just repeated yourself. You gave this argument when we were on our scaling to which it was already contested. That's what I'm saying. We can go to conclusions. You're not repeating anything new. You're just repeating what was
Oh
initially
my
said.
god, you're
Like,
confused as
can we
fuck.
go to
Yeah, we can just
conclusions?
end
Can we
it
go to
here, bro.
conclusions, bro? Can we go to conclusions, bro?
Yeah, that was the conclusions, bro. We're done.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Wait, don't end recording yet. If we're going to conclusions, he just never proved that's like the strongest iteration and how it's above other characters. Like, there's so many things that went unleft responded to and unaddressed. Um, yeah, you guys can end the recording here now. Tamaki, you can end it.
Okay, wait. Before you end it, then I'll give a
No,
conclusive
Tamaki,
statement.
end it. Tamaki, just end the recording, bro. He's
I'll
racist.
wait. No,
He's
let's be
racist. He's
fair.
racist.
Let
He's
me make a
racist.
conclusive statement. So, I put in the question multiple times and asked for empirical evidence multiple times for things you just couldn't account for whatsoever. And so, everything that he didn't provide empirical evidence for, I want you to void. Whoever is judging this right. So, just void everything that you never proved because I asked
What?
for it
What?
on rec.
No, we don't agree to that.
Uh,
End the
and
recording,
then I
please.
want to clarify: my scaling was not something that was addressed in a previous point. Those were two entirely separate things. He's like very confused there, so don't let him like mind fuck you into thinking I did that.
Mind you, he brought up. Can we just end the recording, bro? Like, this is touching an hour, which I didn't want it to do. It's supposed to be like 35, 45 minutes, probably. All right. Kamaki, did you end rec, bro? Did you end rec, or like Elijah?
I could end